Max Verstappen was heavily booed during the F1 75 event in London, which sparked even stronger reactions among his fans. The situation escalated further with his father's stance, who now threatens to boycott future editions of the event, along with Max. This discontent could trigger something bigger, as both the driver and the Red Bull team are dissatisfied with the treatment they received in the English capital. The question now is, can Max find a way to overcome the rejection he faces in the United Kingdom? It is evident that Verstappen is not the most beloved figure in the country, especially in the world of motorsport. Throughout his Formula One career, he has always competed for championships against British drivers. In 2021, his main rivalry was with Hamilton, while last year, Norris was the only competitor who truly threatened his dominance. Additionally, the British press has been one of his fiercest critics, constantly publishing articles with biased opinions and controversial questions. Last year, in Brazil, after winning a race under extremely challenging conditions, Max even questioned why no British journalist was present at the press conference. The recent boos in London, however, took this scenario to a new level. During the presentation of the new car for fans who attended the event in person and those watching the live broadcast, the disapproval was clearly audible. Not only Verstappen and Horner were targets of the negative reception, but also the International Automobile Federation, which was booed as soon as its logo appeared on the big screen of the O2 Arena. In response, the entity adopted a defensive stance, classifying the audience's behavior as a reflection of historical rivalries in motorsport. A Federation spokesperson stated that while these disputes make the sport exciting, it is essential to maintain a culture of respect. Therefore, it was disappointing to see the crowd reacting so aggressively towards the world champion and the Red Bull team principal. The organization also stressed that it is committed to fighting abuse in sports, both in the digital environment and beyond, through the United Against Online Abuse campaign. Additionally, it called on the sports community to reflect on the consequences of their actions. For Max, who is already used to dealing with criticism from the British media, this may not have been a huge surprise. However, being booed by 25,000 people at a high-profile event, right after reaching the peak of his career and winning a world title with a car that was not the fastest on the grid, could influence his perspective on Formula One. Verstappen has never hidden the fact that he does not intend to stay in the category as long as other legends of the sport. There is a possibility that he may retire in his early 30s, and undoubtedly, events like this reinforce that idea. Since 2021, Verstappen's image as Formula One's main antagonist in the United Kingdom has been consolidating, and it is unlikely that this perception will change while he remains active. The recent rivalry with George Russell, which Max chose to downplay, has also contributed to the hostility of the British public. The impact of this is beginning to be felt within the Red Bull team itself, which must focus on building a competitive car for the 2025 season. This will be one of the team's greatest challenges, considering the remarkable progress of Ferrari and McLaren, making the scenario even more complex for the engineers and team manager. Jos Verstappen, the driver's father, expressed dissatisfaction with the treatment received in London. Although he stated that they are already used to being at the center of controversies due to Max's straightforward personality, he believes that this time, the situation crossed acceptable limits. As a result, Jos declared that neither he nor Max intends to participate in similar events in the future. In his words, the reception at the event was reasonable, but he considered the treatment given to Red Bull Racing to be shameful. According to him, Christian Horner and Max were booed disproportionately, which does not align with the purpose of an event meant to promote Formula One. For Jos, this situation is unjustifiable and should not be normalized. He also emphasized that if the event is held again in the United Kingdom next year, his son will not be present. Max himself had already expressed his disinterest in the event months before. During one of his live broadcasts, he jokingly said that he wished he were sick on the day so he wouldn't have to attend. During the presentation, he even made an ironic comment about his presence, but later described the experience as positive. However, the fans showed no interest in any explanation. The boos may have been intensified by Verstappen's rivalry with George Russell, further reinforcing the British public's rejection of the four-time world champion. Boos have always been part of the sport and have existed for a long time. Verstappen has faced such situations at Silverstone, just as Hamilton has been booed at Zandvoort. However, the current context adds a new layer of tension, as there is a considerable history behind this reaction, including conflicts with the British media and Russell's recent statement. Jos Verstappen, in turn, argues that this type of behavior should have no place in Formula One, especially against a driver who has already won 4 world titles and established himself among the greats of the category. Commenting on the episode, Jos questioned the purpose of attending an event to promote motorsport if the audience reacts in such a manner. He reiterated that his son needs to be present at such occasions, but being met with such hostility does not align with the spirit of the sport. Despite all the controversy surrounding Verstappen and Horner, it is important to remember that the federation also faced criticism from the event's audience. In this case, there is a more understandable context, as fans took the opportunity to express their dissatisfaction with the entity. The repercussions were so significant that even personalities like Gordon Ramsay commented on the matter. The British chef stated that drivers should be free to express themselves however they want, while driving at more than 300 kilometers per hour, before having his microphone cut off. This highlights the growing dissatisfaction with the federation and the need for a clearer stance from its leadership. President Mohammed bin Sulayem, considered one of the most controversial figures in the entity's history, avoided focusing on the incident and instead emphasized that the federation is focused on the future of motorsport and creating a healthier environment within the sport. With all these events in mind, do you think the boos directed at Verstappen, Horner, and the federation affected Formula One's image? Moreover, how can Red Bull position itself to strengthen its image in light of this situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.